Guys, Rod here again from FISHTEC Solutions. I'm quite a tinkerer, so when we have quiet periods like this, I like to get in the shed straight after work, grab a cold one. Gets me away from the missus and the kids, just saying. But also gets me on my boat, and that's my sort of place where I just chill out. And I'm always preparing for the next fishing trip. Whenever it's going to come, I believe that the best preparation gets you the best results. So something that's quite often overlooked is the rod that we use, and there's a lot said about different models, different ranges, the best rod for the job, but keeping those rods in good condition is also key to us catching a lot of those bigger fish, especially the ones that put a lot of pressure on the tackle. Now, the Edge Ranger rods are quite a, I suppose, maintenance-free rod, especially the Black Widows. Black Widows feature the recoil guides. There's not really a lot that can go wrong with them unless one of the stems break, and even then that's not really going to affect the braid going through the guides. So with regards to the Black Widows, I still give them a cursory look over, have a look for any gunk stuck in the guides. I look at my leader knots. I always do an FG knot, so I just have a look, make sure nothing's frayed. I look at the probably that sort of last 5 meters of the braid, but normally that sort of 2 meters of the braid, that's where it normally, if it's going to fail, that's where it seems to abrade. I don't know why, if it's a whip going through the guides or something, but I always find that last little bit of the braid before it connects to that leader knot is where it abrades. And then, your reels, your drags, have a look at your braid, just make sure everything looks, spot on. Not all the rods in the Edge range have recoils. The First Strikes, for example, are a pretty good example. They do have titanium guides, but they still have inserts, and I'll go through my guide inserts and just have a look, have a bit of a feel, rub my fingers around the inserts, making sure they're not chipped. The guides that go on rods today, the majority of them are reasonably or relatively indestructible, but you hit the side of the boat, you flick up against your mate's rod when you're fishing, or a leader knot going through a guide, it can bang out one of those inserts, chip the insert, and that becomes a sharp blade. And I've had guys on the boat that they go, geez, my braid just broke, or there's something wrong with my braid, and by the second or third fish that they lose due to braid failure, they realize that it was never the braid or the leader at all, it was actually one of those inserts. So once I'm pretty happy, I've been through everything on that rod, I generally put them into some sort of a rod sock. I've got a whole heap of different kinds of these ones. I basically just thread them over the rod. I know that rod's now good to go. I don't have to do anything to it. I chuck it in my rod locker or back on the rod stand, and I put those rods away. So slightly different rod sock for a bait caster rod, but I know that's all good. My lure's rigged and ready to go. Good hooks, good everything, and I'm ready to go for the next fishing. Howdy.